I'm coordinating the Enough is Enough campaign up in Scotland, and this was launched just a number of weeks ago, and there's been over 500,000 people across the whole of the UK signed up to the campaign. There's tens of thousands of people signed up in Scotland, and as you can see tonight, there is thousands of people all up and down this country coming together for these initial launch rallies, which is absolutely fantastic to see. But I think what that tells you is that working class people are absolutely fed up with the attacks on their living standards. They're absolutely sick, fed up. Attacks on their living standards in a country where there is a record number of billionaires and big businesses are posting record profits. The issue is not that there's not enough money, the issue is who owns the money and what they do with it. The answers to the issues that we are currently facing are not going to be found from politicians and in political chambers. It is going to be found in places like this. It's going to be won in workplaces and communities and be campaigning on the streets. So it's really important that you are here tonight, because what you'll hear tonight is about working class organisations, organising working class people and organising to win for working class people. Enough is Enough is going to build more working class solidarity in communities up and down this country. We're going to be supporting workers in picket lines, and we're going to be winning for working class communities. We've got some great speakers for you tonight, and we're going to have the first speaker in a wee minute. I'm just going to make a public announcement because it is very warm in here. So there is water available. It is available through at the bar. So if anybody does feel a wee bit warm and they need some water, you'll need to go through the doors through to the bar, but there is water available. The first speaker for you tonight is leading Scotland's trade union movement. She is supporting every worker in this country that is taking action for fair pay and to protect their terms and conditions. The first speaker is the General Secretary of the STUC, Roz Foyer.
Hello Glasgow, hello my friends, hello my comrades, and hello all of the people that I don't know yet, but I'm sure I'll get to know you. I'm really, really proud to join this Enough is Enough platform tonight, and I want to bring the support of Scotland's whole trade union movement to this campaign, because it's crucial that we all unite at this time to achieve change. And it's crucial that we help build a broad and an angry movement that goes beyond the boundaries of trade unions alone, one that unites our class to become an unstoppable force to demand real changes to our economy. And it's absolutely brilliant to see such a huge turnout tonight here in the city of Glasgow. You can feel the solidarity and the energy building, and I've felt that solidarity and that energy building right across Scotland as workers have flocked to support other workers taking action on our picket lines. Because the ordinary working people of Scotland are waking up. We're waking up to the lies that we've been told for too long by the politicians, and trade unionists on the ground are leading the way in this fight back, because workers are realising that the politicians are not going to change things unless we force them to. So yes, we are on the offensive. We are demanding real change and real action right now from every single level of government. And that's why over recent weeks we've seen CWU members on strike at Royal Mail. why we've seen the RMT and the other rail unions on strike in our rail networks. Come on, the RMT. We salute you. And that's why we've seen the fantastic cleansing workers take the fight to our councils across Scotland. Come on, the cleansing workers. And we've even seen our NUJ comrades, the journalists, taking strike action at our newspapers. Come on, the NUJ. And so many other disputes across small private sector companies in areas as wide as offshore oil and gas, distribution, manufacturing, and the list goes on and on and on. And already we're seeing real results from workers taking this action collectively, workers standing together and saying enough is enough, we demand a decent standard of living. It's that people power of those unionised workers that's dragged Scotland's First Minister to the bargaining table to give our local government workers a pay deal that's even worth considering. Now, it'll be for our members to decide if that offer's good enough. But now they're considering a consolidated pay rise worth up to 11%. That's £2,000 for the lowest paid, rather than what they started out with, which was a 2% rise worth less than £400. That is progress. That is the power of collective action and trade unions. But we're nowhere near finished yet. We've forced a significant intervention to be made in local government, but we're not going to take the pressure off the Scottish Government or anyone else until every worker in Scotland gets a decent pay offer. So that's why we need to get our arms around the next actions that are coming. We need to give hands-on support to our teaching unions. And we need to support our unions in further education and higher education. And we need to support our civil service unions. All of whom are working very hard, taking their ballots forward and getting themselves strike ready as they continue to rank up the pressure across public sector employers and on our Scottish Government. And of course, we will continue to support our comrades in the rail unions and in the CWU with their ongoing fight, because that will take as long as it takes, and we will be there until those members achieve proper victory. So my message to every single worker in Scotland is this: your fight is our fight, your struggle is our struggle, and wherever workers are collectivising and fighting back, the STUC and other trade unions will be there to support you and to help you win, because that's solidarity. And that's why we'll also be marching on the Scottish Parliament tomorrow morning. And I hope every single one of you can do all you can to get there, and tell your friends and your family to get there too. We are mobilising because while we welcome the First Minister agreeing with the STUC, actually, that we face a humanitarian crisis, the announcements on rent and rail ticket freezes, and we support the increase in the child payment and the programme for government, we also know that these measures don't go far enough. And in the absence of a government in Westminster that even pretends to care about the poor, we need a Scottish Government to go much further and much faster to protect people from what lies ahead. So tomorrow we'll be sending the message loud and clear that we are not satisfied. We demand more action. We need them to bring forward a radical budget because these are radical times that we're facing. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting sick and tired of hearing about the well-being economy. I'm sick of hearing about the fair work agenda. I'm sick of hearing about all of these initiatives that aren't making a real difference, because this is a country where low pay is still endemic. And I'm also sick of hearing the Westminster blame game. The Scottish Government... If they are on the people's side, as they claim to be, the Scottish Government have to do everything possible within their existing powers to deal with this emergency, because the new Tory Government is going to provide more problems than solutions for ordinary workers. And they're not planning on seeking a democratic mandate anytime soon. So tomorrow, we're not only going to be demanding action from the Scottish Government, real action on a decent pay rise for every public sector in Scotland. We're also going to be demanding real action, not just a rent freeze till March, but also long-term rent capping. We want to see real action on setting up a public energy and infrastructure company to take forward a green retrofitting programme and make our housing fit for purpose. Insulate our homes. We want real action on using their taxation powers to properly tax the rich and the high earners. They've got the power to do it now. Tax the profitable businesses, tax wealth, create the size of budget that we need rather than the current approach of robbing Peter to pay Paul and making cuts because we're making uplifts to others. And we need real action on bringing back our buses as well as our trains into public control and ensuring that they get the investment they need to deliver high-quality services and low fares, because they're not getting that investment just now. And we want to see action on meeting fair work benchmarks like union recognition and paying the negotiated rate for the job to employees if a business is getting any sort of support from the Scottish Government. If we're serious about fair work, that's what we need to see. And we need that action on establishing our National Care Service, yes, but it needs to be a not-for-profit National Care Service. And it needs to pay its workers properly. And while we're at it, what happened to free school meals? Why has that been delayed yet again? We need free school meals for all children, right up to the top of secondary age. Because our struggle as a movement is a bit more than just a pay rise. It's actually about the very sort of society that we want to live in. It's about an economy that provides the basic foundations that we need to exist. Good health and care, affordable warm homes, decent transport, good education, and clean and connected neighbourhoods. Our struggle is a just cause for a more just society. It's a struggle for life itself, and we have every right to demand to demand not just to live, but to live well in Scotland, and to demand a fairer share of the huge wealth that already exists in this country. So why should we continue to pay for crisis after crisis when the rich continue to profit? Why should we, workers and ordinary taxpayers who keep our country going, foot the bill for the next Tory government's stick and plaster on our broken energy markets, while energy companies are still allowed to make profits of £170 billion over the next 2 years? It is obscene. And we know the answer. The answer is that we shouldn't and we won't. They need to pay their fair share. In fact, they need to be nationalised. The exploitation of working people in this country must stop now. And it's on us to stop it. And the reality is, this is a crisis that's been decades in the making, and it's been caused by the decisions of successive governments, both in Scotland and in the UK. We've seen our energy companies privatised, our railways privatised, Royal Mail privatised, social care privatised, council houses sold off, and a huge array of our public services, including many of Scotland's school services, outsourced. Even our seabed, with all its offshore wind potential, has been sold off to big business. Our infrastructure and essential services have been sold off to a rentier class who, like vultures on a carcass, extract as much wealth and profit from workers and communities as they can before they move on to their next prey. And until we reverse privatisation and outsourcing in favour of democratic control, then we will continue to be prey to a system that is stacked in favour of the rich and the powerful. So that's why today we're left with an economy that's been stripped bare. That's why we have a political class across the board that's failed in and not taken action. And as the blame game goes back and forward between Westminster and Holyrood, and between Labour and the SNP, the causes of Scotland's profound and unequal economy get ignored. They get left to fester for years. So today, we've got an economy that no longer works for working people. And more of us now realise that it's not going to get fixed unless we build a really wide, broad movement. Doesn't matter if you're for independence or not. This is about demanding more from our politicians of every shade and colour. And into this space, we're seeing trade unions taking the lead. We're articulating a critique of our broken economy on behalf of the whole working class. But we only have a platform to do that because of the collective action taken by so many workers who've stood together and said enough is enough. Strong movements are built from the roots, and the real fight back is happening on our streets and in our workplaces. It's happening in our union branches, in our community projects, and trades councils, and groups like Live and Rent up and down this country. And we salute those efforts, and we want to support that fight back wherever it's taking place. That's why we're working with campaigning groups that operate across Scotland, with the Poverty Alliance and their members, and with anyone who shares our agenda, to knit together our issues into one strong set of demands that the politicians and the governments can no longer ignore. And yes, there's going to be dark days ahead. Under this new Truss government, we're going to have to realise that we are in the fight of our lives. And if you were in any doubt about their intentions, you just have to look at the fact that she's put Jacob Rees-Mogg in charge of trade union and worker rights and energy, so God help us. They're going to throw everything they've got at breaking our movement in the months ahead. And they will try to strip ordinary working people of their rights. They will try to divide us. They will try to vilify us. They will trick us. They will lie to us. And they will even mock us. But remember, that's because they fear us. Because they know that when we, the ordinary working people, get organised, when we unite in our demands with one strong voice, we are more powerful than they can dare to imagine. So, in closing, I'll just say this. When our new Prime Minister talks about us riding the storm together, as they finally get round to implementing some sort of package to address our skyrocketing energy bills, don't believe the hype. Remember, their long-term aim is to prop up that energy market and support the privateers that run it to keep on sucking profits out of our essential services. In the end, ordinary people will be left to foot the bill. So we must continue to organise and to call out their Tory lies and tricks. Because in her storm, they're all going to still be in the super yachts and we're in the dinghies. But what this new Truss government is soon going to have to face up to is that we, the working class, aren't going to swallow their lies anymore. Because we've had enough. We're rising, we're angry, and this time we are the storm, and we're going to blow them away. Thank you.